Hi guys. Good day. How are you all doing? Hello, hello, hello. Okay, so today I have Abby here. I hope you're all doing well. I believe you remember this lady from last week. Yeah, she was on the show last Sunday, and I thought to bring her back because she said she shared something that is very important, and I know that most of you will be interested in. And so, yeah, Abby is here again. So let's just go right into it. Abby, so last time when, after the video, you even mentioned that you actually came with a Mastercard scholarship. And so today she's going to tell us how she got that scholarship. Okay, so Abby, tell us again briefly about yourself, where you studied in Ghana, the program you studied, and why you even decided to travel outside of your home country to study abroad. Just a quick one, because I know that in our previous video you talked a little about yourself.
Yeah.
Okay, so please go ahead.
Okay. Hello, everyone. It's good to be on this show again. My name is Abi Aidu. I grew up in Koko in the Eastern region, went to senior high school, and then went to senior high school at Wesley Girls, and then moved to the University of Ghana to read accounting. So I did the business administration program with a focus on accounting. When I finished, I think a lot of the accounting students end up going into audit and accounting, but I wanted to go to industry. So I worked in finance and then in business development for a while. And then I think at the back of my mind, I always wanted to go to school to further my education. So I started applying for a lot of, schools outside of Ghana. I did a whole lot of applications. I can count about 14 to 18 of them. And for a lot of those, either I got, the program, but I didn't get funding, or I got the program and I got partial funding. But looking at my background, my financial situation, there was no way I was going to be able to pay for it, or I got the program and no funding. So for that year, that was the year I secured UBC. I didn't get any funding. Decided I would use various means to try and get funding. Couldn't, but I was hell bent on coming to UBC. So I emailed the school and told them I wanted to defer the program to next year while I look for scholarships and financial aid. So I had a school in the bag. Now I focused on looking for scholarships and financial institutions. And I think that opened me up to, for a year, all I was doing was looking for scholarships and applying. And that really opened my mind to scholarship opportunities that are available. I applied to quite a lot. Interestingly, by the time that year was coming to an end, I had secured another program with full scholarship from another scholarship program. But then I got the Mastercard Foundation scholarship. And looking at the prestige and everything that was associated with this, I decided I was going to pursue this one. So yeah, been open to a world of scholarships. I can talk about so many scholarships, but I think the purpose of our discussion today is the Mastercard Foundation Scholarship Program. And I'm excited to talk about it and answer any questions, that viewers may have.
Okay, so Abby, most of the time people will be like, Gina, what school can I apply to in Canada? Can you give me some names of schools that I can apply to? When you were in Ghana at the time, after school, why did you have the desire to even travel? How did it come about? Did somebody tell you about UBC? Did somebody tell you about the schools, the 17 or 14 schools you applied to? What did you do to fish out all these schools and started your application? How did you go about it?
Yeah, I think the first thing was I had always had the desire to travel abroad. And I think from my research, I realized that doing school was one of the best routes. And for a lot of people that come to me and say they want to, migrate or something, I always advise that school is one of the best means to travel, because it gives you a pathway. After school, you do this, you find a job, or you get an internship. So it's a more stable route to go. But I think it was also the network of friends and the people I had around me. We were doing it together. We were researching together. I think after the first year, a couple of my friends went. And so because they were out here, they would also, suggest schools to me to apply. Most of the schools I was doing or looking for were within US and Canada. Actually, US mostly. For Canada, the only school I applied to was UBC.
Oh,
Now, I didn't know anything about Canada or Canadian schools, because I think for most people, especially in Ghana, when we think about schools, we think about UK, US, maybe Europe, but Canada isn't necessarily on our radar. So then one of these days, I was, going around trying to find my transcript sent to a few schools in the US. And then one of my friends who is in the US called me and said, "Have you heard about UBC? It's actually top three in Canada." And at the time, the person knew how driven I was, and I was applying to only, let me say, top schools. I applied to Harvard and co.
wow.
For me to do school, I also wanted to do a school that I was going to challenge myself. I was going to, represent Africa in a very good way among, wherever people were coming from. So it was like, you should look at UBC. It's one of the top three
Yeah.
in Canada.
Yeah.
When I checked, there was 7 days to the deadline. So I'm like,
Ooh.
okay, it's not, I would apply and then read about UBC afterwards. So I just applied
Okay.
to the school. And then afterwards, I read about the school. I got to know about, how it focused on sustainability and climate change, which are issues that are coming up, and ethics and all that. I wanted to do an MBA, so because I was coming from, I had been working in oil and gas, so I
Oh,
wanted to move into sustainability, climate change, things that help improve the climate and not necessarily cripple it. So those
wow.
were of interest to me when I was picking a program, a place where their focus, or they have at the back of their mind sustainable leadership or ethical leadership or responsible leadership. So yeah, that's how I got to know about UBC. But subsequently, because I was applying to the Mastercard Foundation Scholarship Program, I realized there are Canadian partner institutions that were also on the program. So a little bit about the Mastercard Foundation Scholarship is they have select programs across the globe that are part of it. So in Canada, I can think about McGill, I can think about University of Toronto, and I can think about University of British Columbia as schools that are partnered. And so if you are an African looking for schools, I think these schools are the top three really in Canada.
Yeah.
But they are also partnered by the Mastercard Foundation Scholarship Program. And so it increases your tendency of doing a program for free, everything covered from your flight to your transition with your family
Yeah.
to getting stipend or feeding and whatever. Like basically they are bringing you to study, and those are some of the universities I can think about or talk about.
Okay. So guys, if you are watching me, I see currently we have quite a number of people watching. Please do share, because what we are going to do today is that she's going to share her screen and she's going to teach us the step-by-step process, like how to apply for the Mastercard scholarship. So if you're watching me, kindly share this video. Let me know where you're watching from, because I see that most of you are watching, but I don't see any comments. So please let me know if you're all here. And please, yeah, share the video again. Again, I am Gina. And yeah, so we are going to go into sharing of the screen. Before you share the screen, um, what are some of the requirements when you checked, when you went on the website to apply? What are some of the things that they were looking out for in order to for you to be able to secure this scholarship? What are the requirements?
Yeah. So before I talk about the requirements, I want folks to be aware that, the goal of Mastercard Foundation is to drive inclusive and equitable socioeconomic change in Africa. And since launching in 2012, they've been able to support about 45,000 young people in Africa to
Wow,
pursue secondary or tertiary education. So
that's
think about it, 45,000. Now, when people think about scholarship programs, or generally when you think about scholarship programs, you think about you have to be the best of the best. Like, you have to probably get if a GPA of, I don't know, above 3.7 or 3.6 to have a first class, or you have to, if you were GMAT or GRE, you have to have a top score. But it's unique with the Mastercard Foundation Scholarship Program. The scholarship focuses on raising leaders, transformative leaders in Africa. So the biggest requirement for the Mastercard Foundation Scholarship is you should be doing something meaningful in your community. You should
oh,
be volunteering.
okay.
You should you should have started an initiative or be a part of an initiative that brings transformative change in Africa. That is all it takes. I've spoken with people whose grades are just average, but because of the work they are doing with an organization in Africa, they were able to get in. So I think the biggest thing is, what are you doing in your community? How are you, bringing change in where you are living? If
Okay.
you are able to, verbalize this or vocalize this or talk about this in a unique way, your
Mm.
chance of getting the Mastercard Foundation scholarship is really high.
Wow.
Um,
And do you
so
provide evidence to that too?
So it's basically essays you are going to write to talk about it. So
Okay.
that's the biggest thing. So I can go into it. I mean, there would be an interview part, but also in the interview, all the questions are centered around what are you doing? How will the scholarship help you do more in your community? Because once again, MasterCard is big on equitable socioeconomic change in Africa. They want to see how young people would build Africa. And so the focus is what you are doing back home or what you are doing in your community. So really hone in, talk, don't talk about your experiences and how good you are and all that. Everybody talks about it. Talk about what makes you unique. I think one guy here, he's also Ghanaian, he told me that he had started a cleanup exercise in his neighborhood. And that was
Okay.
it. That was what
Wow.
he talked about, right? I was working with an NGO to raise leaders in Africa. We have a leadership center. That was my focus for my scholarship. You speak to other people, they all had something they were doing in their community or volunteering with. So that is the biggest requirement. If you and you have till the next round of scholarship to find out how you can contribute to your community. If you aren't doing something now,
Start.
go work on something, start something, work with an NGO, really bring about a good change and talk about it in your
Okay.
scholarship application. And that's the biggest requirement.
Okay. So that said, guys, if you're watching, just so you know, this scholarship opens in October. October. So currently it is closed. Okay. It opens in October. So if you haven't done anything like that, if you haven't contributed to your community, you need to start now. And you don't want to say something that is not really true. You need to be truthful to yourself. And so this is the right time to start. So this application will be for next year, 2025, September, and it's open in October. Do you know when it closes? Maybe January.
Typically, it closes December and January,
Okay.
depending on the schools. because for different schools, and we'll probably talk about it. For some schools, when you apply for the scholarship while you're applying for the program, so they try to align it. But for some schools, you apply for the scholarship first, and then you apply for the program. So they try to make sure that you get the scholarship done, and then you can get through to the school application. For some schools, once you get the scholarship, you automatically get in the program of choice. But for some, it works hand in hand. So by the time they confirm that you are admitted into the program, you are also getting confirmation that you've also gotten the scholarship. So it depends. Every school has a different process, and we can talk through how you can find out the process for every school.
Abby, so with what she said, does it mean that you don't necessarily have to be a first class, a second class upper? You could be a second class lower, or even a third class student to secure the scholarship?
Yeah, I think I know people who have, they don't have first class, or they don't have an upper even, but they are in the scholarship program.
Oh my
I think
goodness.
I think
What?
it's a culmination of your story.
Yeah.
Once again, they also want to help people who can't pay for their fees. And so if that also becomes very apparent in your story,
Yeah.
because they know that there are systemic barriers when it comes to higher education. And so they want to be able to support that. I've met people through this scholarship program, because once you are done, you also become a part of a bigger network. I've met people who came from slum areas, and it was just a miracle they get in schools, or they even finishing with a lower where they grew up, and they are in the scholarship program. I've met people who are refugees, right? And so, it's very difficult for them to even get a third class, and they are in the scholarship program. I've met people with disability who are also in the program. And so I think it's about how you are able to tell your story, show that, you are doing this in your community, you are passionate about education, and you need that to be able to continue with what you are doing in your community, but you can't afford it, or but you don't have the means to pay for, the thousands of dollars that is being asked. And so it's about being able to connect all those dots in your stories. And I can take time, maybe when it's getting closer, or if people reach out to me on LinkedIn or whatever, talk through some of like how you can actually structure, your essay. I've reviewed essays for folks in the past. I know people that are currently interviewing, because now they are doing the interviews. I have mentored people who are currently doing interviews for 2024, and we are just keeping our fingers crossed. But it's basically how you tell your story. This scholarship, it's about I think the biggest thing I have learned is storytelling when it comes to some of these scholarship applications, because you want to, so there are so many. And I remember when I came, someone told me, "Oh, I remember you. I remember reading your essay." Is you want They are reading so many. So the question you want to be asking yourself is, how do I leave an impression when they read my story, or when they watch my video recording, my interview recording? How do I say, "Oh, this is the, I don't know, the leadership whatever girl. Oh, this is the girl that talks about this." And one of the things, for me, I really hone in on is I solve problems with storytelling. So, oh, this is the girl that uses storytelling to solve problems. You want to have a way to capture the admission committee, or the people reviewing, your stories. So you want to have something that is unique to you, and I think that's the way to sell your essays and your ideas when you are applying for the scholarships.
Okay, great.
So we can go through, but
So
let me know if there are any questions. If not, we can shift the
Yeah.
focus to
Guys,
the
please,
program
I
itself.
want to confirm if the network is okay. Let me know if the video is breaking. Okay, I want to know for some reason. Yeah, I just want to know. And please, if you're here, do comment because okay, so I see Hope, I see Evelyn, and some few other people. Abby, please, let's just go ahead with the requirements.
Okay, so I'm just going to share my screen and then you can check with your audience if they can see my
Yeah,
screen.
I am actually watching myself on Facebook, so I hope I see it too.
Okay, awesome. So to basically navigate or find out about the scholarship opportunities
Are
with
you
Mastercard
sharing?
Found. Yes, I'm sharing my screen now.
Guys, can you see her screen? Please let me know. Network, okay, okay, great, okay, great. Abby is sharing her screen. Please let me know if you can see her screen. The video breaks sometimes. It does. Oh my goodness. Okay, you know what? Um, I am changing my location. Oh my god, this is so funny. I don't want the video to break. Okay, I don't think it's gonna break this time. Is there an age limit for the scholarship? Um, okay.
There's no age limit on the scholarship. I'm actually talking to a woman this weekend. She's probably like above 30 or so, and people actually come into the scholarship program like when they are moving, they move with their children. So I don't think there's an age limit. I've had colleagues who are 35 and they are doing the program
Okay.
with me. So I don't think
Um,
there's an age limit.
so we no. Okay, so they can't see your screen. I think I need to give you access. I am not sure how to do that. I am not sure.
So I can just also talk through it, and
Okay.
then
The next
maybe
time.
we can record a video subsequently and post or
Yeah, we can do
work
that.
on.
We can
Yeah.
do that.
So basically, to find out all the scholarship applications that are available, simply search the Mastercard Foundation Scholars Program. Type it in a search engine, the Mastercard Foundation Scholars Program, and it will take you to the Mastercard homepage for the scholarship applications.
Yeah.
And then when you scroll below, you would see there's more information about the program, where to apply to the program, and partner resources for disability inclusion. So you just basically click on, and I'm doing it as I'm talking. You click on where to apply to the scholars program, and at the bottom it will list out all the schools that are you can be eligible for Mastercard application, Mastercard Foundation scholarship for. So you would see at the top there's the undergraduate studies, and then at the bottom there's master's studies. So if you are applying for undergraduate studies, you have to only look at the undergraduate studies programs. So some of the schools that are listed for undergrad, or schools that Mastercard gives scholarship for undergrad, is American University of Beirut, Ashesi University College, Kwame Nkrumah University of Science and Technology, Makerere University, African Leadership University, University of Rwanda, University of Western Cape. A lot of these universities are back on the continent. So it's this scholarship doesn't only give you scholarship for let's say master's level. There's also undergraduate level, and most of them would be back in your home country, most often than not. And the goal is you should have at least some education from your home country, and then if you want to you know go on it or proceed on it, then you look at the universities that are outside. I know, for example, when it comes to Kwame Nkrumah University of Science and Technology and Ashesi, they even have all these dual degree programs with some universities outside of Ghana. So, for example, with Ashesi University, they have a program where I think you do 3 years and then you go on to do masters in UC Berkeley and some other universities outside of Ghana. So you can look at the undergrad if you want to do an undergraduate degree program, but you cannot, financially, you are not financially able to do the program, you can look at some of those. Now, when we go to the master's studies, which I think that's where a lot of people kind of look for scholarship for, there are so many scholarships. I could count probably about 30 universities or so listed here. There's Arizona State University, there's McGill University, there's University of Oxford, there's University of British Columbia, there's University of Edinburgh, there's University of California, there's University of Toronto, there's University of Western Cape, actually. I think this is a new one. University of
Okay.
Western Cape is also here in Canada. So, folks can look at that. So when you take each of these universities,
So, Abby, what I did was that I logged into my laptop, and what I'm going to do is I will be able to share my screen
okay,
because
okay,
I'm doing this video with my phone, but I have logged into a live on my laptop using the same app. And so I will be able to share my screen and show them how it looks like. Okay, yeah, so
okay.
please go ahead, but I'm just gonna, if you could give me what you mentioned again.
Yeah, so you can search the
Mhm.
Mastercard Foundation Scholarship Program.
Okay, Mastercard Foundation Foundation Program.
Yes, you can search that and it should pop up.